You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast. If you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot. Leave now. Run to your safe space. Get your little cloth for your tears. All the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any local or government agency. Welcome. Motor Cop Chronicles podcast. We don't hear that music too often, huh? It's the OG music when I'm by myself. This is going to be another review video podcast, however you want to look at it, while we do it live here. Also, see Outlaw George here, favorite Australian girl. JoJo's here. Of course, it's Saturday over there in Australia, so she can watch. She's not at work. But what we're going over is, I don't know if y'all remember, a Detective Sergeant Brian Keely, who has been charged with, I think, second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter or something like that. And both the charges are I'm going to try to be clean for this one. The charges are crap, okay, if anybody watches the case. And I just finished watching a piece of it again, going over, because this video, this preliminary hearing, to let you know, it's 4.5 hours long. No, don't get worried. We're not going to do this for 4.5 hours. I took pieces of it out, and some of them are long, and we'll still have to go through it. But we're going to talk. They did a preliminary examination, and at the end of it, I'll tell you what I think this judge ought to rule as I see it. But of course, you know, we got these DAs and stuff doing it, but let's just jump into the video. We'll talk about it. Oh, like I said, we'll start. They're gonna. I think where I start at is they're gonna start right where I start as. We're gonna talk about the warrants and stuff like that. So why they were going after this good young man now, that they want to put a good man in prison for trying to stop this, this poor misunderstood youth. How you doing, Kathleen? This is the DA, or an ADA. I don't know if he's the DA himself, but this man right here, the bald-headed man, shiny head. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know if people go to speeches or classes and a lot. For him being in this type of job, he needs to work on his presentation, because this dude is a snore fest, okay? If this goes to trial, he's going to put the jury to sleep. He's got one of them voices that's just, it does not hold your attention. It's like listening to white noise to me. Because when I was watching it in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm fall asleep listening to this dude. So he needs to work on that if he wants to stay in this job. This guy on the stand back here, he's a detective sergeant, also with some impact team they have out there. He was he's lead of that, and that's what we're going to talk about.
What were those warrants?
I believe 2 were active felony or violent felony warrants. One was for a domestic incident involving a handgun and threats in the city of Kentwood in 2023. Another one was another domestic assault and larceny in the city of Grand Rapids. 2 others were probation violation warrants with, I believe, original felony charges, and the 2 were misdemeanor bench warrants, if I'm not mistaken.
So I heard all that, right? He had warrants out for felony domestic violence with firearm, with I guess a girlfriend or probably a girlfriend and a child. He had another felony warrant out doing with firearm. He has probation warrants out because obviously he's on probation for another felony, and he failed to comply on what he's supposed to do on probation. So they want to violate him, but they can't catch him. If I'm correct, I think they've been looking for this dude for a total of 2 years. So
the felony warrants that you referenced, was that for carrying a concealed weapon?
Yes, that was one of the charges on the Kentwood incident in 2023.
And the other, you said it was, did you say it was 2 felony warrants?
Yeah, the first two we believe were 2 active felony warrants. The other was a Grand Rapids incident as well.
We discussed the CCW. What exactly was the other warrant?
The one out of Grand Rapids?
Yes.
That was, I believe, a domestic assault.
I'm hoping that this guy here knows what the warrants were, and he's just doing this to get it on the record. That's what I'm hoping. Because if he don't, he's a complete fool. I'm pretty sure he's probably just going over it so he could get it on a record.
Incident with a child mother and a larceny incident.
Was there a debriefing to discuss the plan as to how the apprehension would take place?
There was a briefing, yes.
About what time, well, let me back up, was this debriefing on April 17th?
It was.
And can you tell the court about what time the debriefing took place?
I think it was around 8 a.m. that morning.
And were all the individuals who were participating in the actual attempt to apprehend, were they part of or present for that debriefing?
I believe so, yes.
I'm boring you, Kathleen.
I would say approximately a half hour, 45 minutes maybe.
I want to try to find it. I know it's all this stuff's boring, especially if Sherry been through it. I watched the entire thing, which is like 4.5 hours long, and it was. It's like I said, this dude was putting me to sleep. I was trying to find the part. I don't know if it's on this part or not. We don't have to get to it. There's a part in here, or everybody else can go watch it too. If anybody thinks that, I'm lying about anything, if they want to hear it out the horse's mouth themselves. But there's a part in here. They actually, he questioned them, this cop, and they had actually went at one point to this the guy's house looking for him, and of course, his mama, oh, I ain't seen him in a while. He don't live here. Blah 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 blah. Lies, straight up lies. This woman, I mean, they all do it. Straight up lies. Okay, she knew where he was at, because you know how I know where she is, because later on they're going to talk about. And mention later on also that I picked up on the car that he had been driving around in. It was a rental car. This rental car was rented by his mama. So don't lie and say you don't know where he's at. He's got a car that you paid for that's in your name to rent. Of course, she's going to lie and say she don't know where he's at and stuff like this. Personally, I don't see how some of these people like this DA and stuff live with themselves, because it just.
Mr. Sterling left that location.
See, right here they talk about, he leaves here and he does this, and I don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
To follow his.
The detective sergeant was able to establish in being his testimony that he is part of MPAC, which is
Around for a split second or so to gather what was happening. He then immediately started sprinting south through the gas station parking.
See, he talked here. They started to surround him. He realized what was going on. Sterling took off running. That's when they chased him. Let's just jump over to the second video. I mean, this is all basically the same. It's a lot of talking.
Successful apprehension, so developing that information.
And as part of that workup, you learned, I'm not going to ask you specifics at this point in time, but you learned information in regards to Mr. Sterling that caused concerns for officer safety and or other people's safety?
I was made aware by Detective Woolman, who's the detective on investigating him through Facebook. We were advised that there were images.
Y'all listen now, okay? Because I'm a cop. Being a cop, okay, they done surveillance on him stuff. This is stuff they have learned about him, okay? So everybody's saying, no, he's a good boy, listen.
Video of firearms with Mr. Sterling.
So based on this information that you had gathered and the warrants that were outstanding and your review of other police reports, did you then ask for, because you're the head of the team, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Did you then request the assistance of the U.S. Marshal?
Well, it's a case-by-case basis.
They requested the assistance of the U.S. Marshal's fugitive task force, basically. He is known to carry weapons. He's been arrested with weapons. He has charges against him from weapons. So as a cop, we automatically going to take into effect that he's probably going to. It's not 100% sure, but there's more than likely chance there's going to be a weapon close by, or in the area. I agree with you, Kathleen. She says the defense attorney he was great. I was very impressed with him. There was another witness they bring in. I didn't put it up there. He's a civilian videographer or something for the police department. Well, these district attorneys need to get their crap together, because obviously, you have to give the defense your witness list. Who's coming? Because they have to be able to see it and everything else. Well, they didn't put this guy on it. He got him dismissed off the case quickly. This dude, the only thing he had to say was where he worked and how long he'd been there. And that was it. And he was bye-bye.
Present.
And did you help conduct that briefing?
I assisted with.
Why would you brief the team on the observation of the weapon on Facebook, the fact of the statement by his father that Mr. Samuel Sterling made about not going quietly, and
Correct.
And as you testified, it's a rapidly evolving situation.
Correct.
What is the point? Have you had training in Barrett in taking down vehicles in regards to using your vehicle, your civilian vehicle, or your unmarked vehicle?
We have trained with, it's called KNET, local drug enforcement team, along with DEA on that. My body worn camera.
Let's back up a little bit more. That morning, we talked about the weather. That morning, had it rained?
Yes, it had rained.
Was it a sprinkle or was it an absolute downpour?
I believe it was an absolute downpour.
Were you out in your vehicle at that point in time?
I was at my vehicle, out in the Kentwood area.
Do you recall how soon before this incident with Mr. Sterling started to take place that rain stopped?
I don't.
I know you can't say it, but if you watch, we've watched the video, the ground was soaking wet. You could see the concrete was like shining. It was wet, okay?
So,
When you were on scene, did you have an opportunity to observe the ground and or the parking lot?
I did.
And did you observe anything like moisture and or puddles or anything of that nature?
Yeah, the ground or pavement was still wet.
Now,
Any type of weapon, is that correct?
We did not see any weapons on this person.
And no weapons were found on this person after the crash, is that correct?
That is correct.
And no weapons were found in his vehicle that he was.
I love how, this is how I feel about it anyway. That this man, right here, this attorney, this prosecutor, is basically like, well, he's all about, well, he didn't have a weapon. You don't know that why he's running. I can guarantee you this guy wouldn't have got out and chased that man with the possibility of him having a weapon, not knowing. I guarantee you put this man in a shoot or don't shoot situation with like semi-munitions, and I bet you he will fire on an unarmed person in that kind of situation. But they sure are quick to jump the gun here, aren't they? Alexa talking and I didn't even say nothing.
They got him to the gas station, is that correct?
That's what I was told, so yes, that'd be correct.
one other. Sorry, Judge.
I don't know exactly where it was at. I don't know exactly where it's at, but I know Kathleen and them have to hear it. This man right here at one point, the reason I had to part with the road and stuff being wet, this dude over here, wherever, him right here, he's like, well, what's the weather? I mean, couldn't have you, talking to him, said you could have called it off, right? So he's basically insinuating that because of rain and inclement weather, we shouldn't go arrest bad guys that we've been trying to take off the street for 2 years on weapons charges and violent felons and stuff like that because it's bad weather. What are we supposed to do? Wait for perfect weather? Call them up, invite them to the park, push them on a swing for a little bit? This dude right here insinuates that they should have waited till it was better weather. Really, dude. it's laughable. That's actually laughable.
Exhibit number 6.
This man here we jump into, as you can see, he's a sergeant with the Michigan State Police. He's basically a crash reconstructionist. Okay, and where I started it off, we're not going to listen to the whole thing. This clip I got up here is like 40 minutes long, but I'm going to try to do it. You really need to watch the whole thing. Basically, they're going to start talking about some negative and stuff like that, and some negative numbers and stuff like that. When they're talking about is the steering. Like, I think the negative is like all the way to the right. The higher the negative, the lower it's going up. So if it gets to positive, it's to the left or something like that. And you don't have to appreciate it. I mean, it needs to be done because they're trying to railroad Keely. And so when they're talking about these numbers, it's like you can tell he's turning the steering wheel is what he's doing. The way I listened to it, you can listen to every bit of it, I'll just try to explain it the best I can. The way I understood it is it shows him braking. The ABS, the analog braking system, was engaged at the time, like really engaged. And you got to jam brakes on pretty hard to engage the anti-lock braking system if you ain't never done it before. Go on and try it. And if you've never felt it before, I ride a motorcycle for a living. I've engaged the newer motorcycle. Well, newer. When I first started, didn't have it. Motorcycles now have analog brakes on them. These Harleys that we ride anyway, and I've engaged them. Okay, and when analog brakes engaged, it's a very weird feeling because it's actually the brake pedal will pump on your foot. You can feel that brake pedal bopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You gotta hit it. And you're exactly right. No one's engaging anti-block brakes and trying to run over somebody. But at one point, but anyway, that's what he talks about. They're going to talk about the steering and all that stuff. To me personally, all the questions that the ADA talked to him about and stuff like that, I felt like while I was sitting there listening to it the first time, I'm like, and of course I have a better understanding on it than some civilians will because I investigate crashes for a living. I'm not a reconstructionist, but I've been through some, advanced classes. And I'm like, dude, you're actually I felt like, me personally, like if I'd have been sitting on a jury or something, that he was making the case for the defense on that he wasn't trying to run over him on purpose. Because they were like, then I will let y'all listen towards the end on his closing statement. He's like, well, he turned towards, the suspect, and they call him by name. I'm not calling him by name. He's just a piece of shit. But, he turned towards him. I don't know about y'all, but when I learned how to drive, seems like 100 years ago, and went through 10 stuff like that, it says if your car is if you're hydroplaning and you're sliding, what are you supposed to do to try to get it to stop sliding? Give y'all a second. You steer into the slide. You steer into it. So if I'm sliding this way, I'm not trying, because the thing is when you try to slide out of it is when you start getting it all, I don't even want to say it all. You get the ass in, start sliding around. You turn into the slide. Okay. So I believe that just like this attorney says later on that he was on the brakes hard. To me, if you're trying to hit somebody, well, of course, I think the ADA says he wasn't trying to hit nobody. He believes that he was, just trying to use them to block them. Well, if that's the case, you just made your point already because you charged a man with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. First, I'm not no big college-educated attorney, of course. I still don't understand. How can you charge one person with 2 crimes when one person died? Did he kill him twice? Did the person die twice? See, to me, that should be illegal. That's like throwing a whole bunch of shit out there. Let's just throw all these charges at somebody and see what sticks. because that's crap right there. But to me personally, like I said, listening to it, look, if you got time, go listen to it if you find stuff like that interesting. The ADA is boring as shit. He will put you to sleep. But like I said, they talk about, he was turning at 171 here, and then it's right back over to like minus 50 because he was turning back the other way. Because he was counter steering. He didn't want to hit nobody. So I don't know. Those two in here, one of them the Attorney General. So this isn't a local DA. This is the Attorney General's office people that are prosecuting. Let's go over here to this. This is I'm gonna let y'all listen to a little bit of the closing statements.
Is that it, Your Honor?
Yes.
I understand. I'm assuming this is the bailiff right here. I know this is off topic, but this is the bailiff. Most courts around here we go into, a bailiff's going to be in full. I mean, you don't have to be in class dress A uniform, but you're going to be in a uniform. I mean, I don't even think this dude even have a gun on? Do they have like private security in the court up here or something? Because I mean, I'm just wondering.
Thank you. All right, the people have indicated that they do not have an additional witness. Would the defense call a witness at this time?
Can I have one moment?
Yes.
Mr. Samuel Sterling. That is that Mr. Samuel Sterling died as a result of...
I want to know, is this dude a new attorney? Because I'm telling you, or do they not give you speaking classes in attorney school? Because he's a horrible speaker. I'm sorry. I would not have this guy presenting it. It's a crap case, but I wouldn't have this dude doing it. He sucks. He can't speak. I mean, I know I sound like a redneck, but he just can't speak. He don't, and plus he don't even sound confident because he knows he's got a crap case. Because I mean, he sounds like, to me in his voice, he sounds defeated.
The crash between the vehicle driven by Brian Keely and the hitting of Samuel Sterling. You heard the testimony of the witnesses here today. Specifically, you heard from Detective Egan, who stated that Brian Keely was the one who was driving the Hyundai Palisade vehicle. You had the testimony also from...
I think you're talking about that little blonde-headed woman or something. I seen her too. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with her either at all. I know you do. A lot of people think because people like me have country accents or the way we sound that we're uneducated, stupid, believe it or not. Well, big city people do anyway. Because of the way we sound, they just automatically, oh, he's a country hick, and they're stupid. So I don't care personally. But I'm just saying that's general consensus.
Sergeant Tubergen, who stated that he spoke to Brian Keely, and Brian Keely stated that he was not injured and the airbags from his vehicle did not deploy. The court is also aware, at least circumstantially.
Well, I saw the impact. I watched it. It's like the impact, probably didn't do that much damage to the car. It wasn't a major impact. It ain't like he just plowed over this kid. It's the airbag. And it was kind of like a quarter panel thing. If this guy knows anything, you got to hit the front. There's sensors in a bumper that you have to hit at a certain speed to set these sensors off to deploy an airbag.
That the
I don't know. I didn't go to college.
Deploy on the vehicle that the court has seen in the various videos as well as the still shots. Second, the people have to show that the defendant had one of these three states of mind. Either he intended to kill or he intended to do great bodily harm to Samuel Sterling, or he knowingly created.
All right, I'm going to rewind this part now. Just a second. Just a few little seconds right here. Listen again. For him to commit these crimes, Keely had to have this intent, okay? Y'all listen.
Sterling, or he knowingly created a very high risk of death or great bodily harm, knowing that death or such harm will be the likely result of his actions.
Y'all hear that, right?
And Brian Keely stated that he was not injured and the airbags from his vehicle did not deploy. The court is also aware, at least circumstantially, that the airbags steel shots. Second, the people have to show that the defendant had one of these three states of mind. Either he intended to kill.
So they have to show that he's intended to kill, which if he had intent to kill, why would he just run him over? He'd pull his gun out and just put a bullet in him, right? So no. Everybody here knows that's just bullshit. Keely didn't have no intention to kill. Okay, so no, plus they didn't even prove that. To me, they disproved it with the analog brake stuff. So that's out the window.
Or he intended to do great bodily harm.
So he intended to do, or he had to intend to do great bodily harm to this boy. No, I don't think he wanted to he didn't want to hurt the boy. They just wanted to arrest him. He had no malice against this kid. Just wanted to arrest him. So, and they still haven't proved that he intended to hurt him. It's called an accident. That's like me driving down the road and accidentally I run in the back of somebody. And let's say it, Lord forbid something really bad happened to him. Ran the back of him. I mean, you going to charge me with second-degree murder? I didn't have the intent to kill him. I guarantee I didn't have the intent to do anything to him. It's called an accident. So, no, they haven't proved that either.
To Samuel Sterling, or he knowingly created a very high risk of death or great bodily harm, knowing that death or such harm will be the likely result of his actions.
All right. So he had to knowingly commit this act, and knowingly that it could create death or great bodily harm. Guarantee he didn't do this thinking that even was a slight outcome of this. Okay? Not at all. So basically, right here, you've actually proven your own case for the defense because you ain't proved none of this shit. None of it. You haven't proved any of it at all. And where's he think he proved it? You like say, well, he had to unlock brakes and all this stuff. So that proves intent right there? Really? Or are you that stupid? Or are you trying to placate to the woke mob in this area because it is? That's all. I'm telling you, this is what this is. Because Mom was in there boo-hooing her ass off. I didn't even want to show that. I didn't even show that. She was in there boo-hooing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all see what my shirt says. I don't care who's feeling the hurt or who gets mad. It's just the truth. Because the truth hurts a lot of time. That's why nobody wants ever to hear it. She would have turned him in the first place. Guess what? He would be alive. They went into the house. She lied. Should arrest her ass for aiding and abetting. A felon is what they should have done. You know what? I don't even think they care that much. They probably, I miss him so bad. No, you don't. All you doing is hoping now is to get a big fat paycheck from the state police. That's all you hoping for now. You're hoping for a payday. I'm surprised Ben Chump wasn't up in there with you, holding you while you cried. While they trying to railroad this man. Okay, I'm on a soapbox now.
The people believe that probable cause has been shown, at least for purposes of this record, for this hearing, that at a minimum, Detective Sergeant Brian Keely knowingly created a very high risk of death or great bodily.
No, he didn't. He didn't knowingly do that. He did not knowingly do that at all. He was just trying to go up there, probably wanted to cut the kid off to slow him down so the foot people could get on him. He did not know that he was going to hit this kid. He didn't know that the car was going to go into a slide and start skidding. Come on now. Come on.
Knowing that death or such harm will be the likely result of his actions. Now, where do we get that from?
How does he know? How does he know that that's what Keely was thinking? Was he in his head? He don't know what he was thinking. I guarantee you, Keely felt like shit that this kid died in the first place. He didn't want to. He had no malice. He did not want to hurt this kid. How do I know that? Because I go out and work every day as long as I strap on a gun every freaking single day. Been doing it for 29 years now, almost 29 years. I ain't never got up in the morning and strapped my boots on, strapped all this other gear on, and said, you know what? I hope today's the day I get to take somebody's life. Never. I knock on wood that I can finish off my career and never have to take a life. Never. Not saying they have a cop out there, one or two that they probably do or want to. And hopefully they don't get to before they get caught. 99.9% of cops don't ever go out there with any intent. So he can't say that. That's bullshit.
Or what is the evidence that suggests that? Well, I would suggest that, Judge, even if you set aside the different various factors, that being the speed of the vehicle, the brakes of the vehicle, how many seconds, things of that nature. At a minimum, what we know is that Detective Sergeant Brian Keely intentionally turned his vehicle in the direction of Samuel Sterling. We know that. He turned his vehicle.
No, see, he's a liar. If you look at it, all those numbers when that steering wheel was turning is in damn near like in tenths of a second. All this shit is happening in tenths of a second. It's like that fast. Everything's happened that fast. I guarantee you that wheel was going here, going there. He was trying to get the car stabilized back where it would gain traction back so it stopped sliding. That's why the wheel went back forward. You turn into the slide. That's how you get your traction back. This stupid son of a bitch, does he even drive? I mean, who don't even know? He's pulling straws right now, like I said. Pulling straws.
In the direction of Samuel Sterling. Now, did he turn his vehicle in that direction for the purpose of trying to apprehend him with the rest of his team? Yes. Was Detective Sergeant Brian Keely's intention to cut him off? Probably was.
The total intent in front, he might have been at first wanting to cut him off. At the point where he was turning that wheel back and forth and them analog brakes were engaged, he wasn't thinking nothing about trying to cut this kid off at the time. I'm just speculating now from my experience. The only thing he was thinking is, oh shit, I don't want to hit this kid and I don't want to hit this building. That's the only two things he was doing. I got to get control of this vehicle. You did a pretty good job. I mean, I think you got I think the kid probably, most likely, I mean, was a blunt force trauma or saying or whatever, but it was he probably hit his head and shit on a building or something like that. So he didn't just plow over him. So, I mean, but this man is just, you think they say, you know what, we ain't got no case. We ain't got no case. These people are placating to the woke mob right here. That's all this is.
But the issue here is whether he knowingly created a high risk that death or great bodily harm. Notice that the third prong doesn't.
You know who created the high risk? I'm trying not to cuss on this one. You know who created the high risk? I'm gonna tell you who created the high risk. Sterling did. You know what? Because he didn't have to run. He could have sat there, took it like a man, let him put the cuffs on him, and went to freaking jail and play it out there because he knew he was guilty and he's gonna run. So Sterling's the one that created this high risk situation when he took off running. So let's put the blame where the blame belongs. Let's put the blame on him. Let's put the blame on Mama for lying, saying, I don't know where he's at. She could have said, yeah, my son's right here. Look, I'm going to get him to come home. I'll let y'all know when he comes home and we'll get him then or something like that. If she cared about him. Because you know what? You can't run forever. You're going to eventually get caught. Okay, you're gonna eventually get caught. So let's put the blame where it was. Who created the high risk situation? Mama, especially him. All of this, where he's dead now, is a combination of everything he did in his entire life. Came to this point. All of the crimes that he committed. How many crimes did he commit that he never got caught for? He had 6 freaking warrants out for arrest, 4 felonies. He was wanted for 2 years and trying to track him down. He created the high stress situation. He created the dangerous situation when he ran. Put it on that. This man is stupid.
He has to not only create just a very high risk of death, it's a very high risk or great bodily harm. And I would submit that at a minimum, probable cause has been shown that anytime anyone drives a vehicle towards another person, a vehicle.
Off the subject then, okay? You heard what he just said. I ain't got to play it back. Whenever somebody drives a vehicle towards another person, you automatically know you're committing something that can happen. You could cause death or great bodily harm, right? Right? Just charge that other cop. I forget which state it's in. I talked about it last night. Shoplifting woman, pregnant. He was in front of the car. She starts up and starts driving at him in the car. He shoots one time into the car, kills the lady. Guess what they just did? This happened almost a year ago. And then they just indicted him for freaking murder this past week. According to this woke person here, if somebody drives a car at you, they automatically are trying to create bodily harm or hurt you, right? But in the other case, it's like, oh, well, no, she wasn't doing that. Let's charge the cop. The problem is all of these woke DAs and all these woke states is they're more worried about protecting the criminals than protecting the men and women that put their lives on the line every day. They rather put a cop in jail for doing their job than put a criminal in jail for breaking the law. That's the problem, because that's hypocrisy right there.
Weighs thousands of pounds and you're getting within feet or inches of that person, you are knowingly creating a very high risk of death or great bodily harm. Keep in mind that this situation, Detective Sergeant Brian Keely driving.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is in the same state. They just had another case where a deputy or something was chasing two juveniles. One of the juveniles got clipped by the car tire or something and died or something like that. And they found no true bill on him. If y'all are still listening, am I right? Same state?
Towards Samuel Sterling was for a warrant, a felony warrant. And we're talking about a carrying a concealed weapon, felony in possession. You have testimony on this record from the officers that they did surveillance on Samuel Sterling. They were watching his house. There was no indication. The officers indicated that there was no evidence or no indication to them that on that particular day, and that's the day that we're worried about. That's the day that we're concerned about. On April 17, 2024, Samuel Sterling did not have a gun. He did not have.
Or the police? Yeah, I thought I was right. It was a county deputy. Yeah, same state though, right, and everything. So it's the same attorney general and all that stuff like that. Yeah, see, this is about woke shit.
Have a weapon. Detective
Same
Egan,
city.
They're watching. The whole team is watching. He had no gun. He had no weapon. There was no evidence, no indication that he took a gun from the house, put it in the car. There's no indication that there was any weapon. In fact, the car was searched. There was no gun in the car. There was no.
It was searched afterwards. People can hide weapons on themselves where you can't see it. That's why it's called concealed weapon. I don't have to go over the definition of concealed to Mr. College educated attorney here, right? It's called concealed. Last time I checked, unless it's different over here where y'all are at, we don't have x-ray vision glasses or nothing like that. Nothing. So tell me, I'm just supposed they could just know that he didn't have a weapon on him when he's known to carry weapons. So your whole point right here is moot to me.
indication that Samuel Sterling had a weapon on his person. You saw the video, they checked his person. No weapons whatsoever. So what is the crisis? There's no indication, this court heard nothing that any individual person was.
No, but the court also heard, if you pay attention and listen, go back to the first law enforcement officer we're talking to, the leader of the impact team. He got questioned about, I believe, a rifle that he had in his front seat with him. If they said he usually carry, he said no. But in this situation, he basically brought it with him because this person was known to carry weapons. So they didn't know what he had. The leader of the impact team brought a heavier gun out just in case, because this guy's known to carry a weapon. So again, this is stupid.
In danger. This was simply about apprehending a person they decided to arrest on that day. And
it's a person they were looking for 2 freaking years. Has been evading and avoiding the law, so he can stand trial and possibly pay the price. Well, he already was guilty on something because he's on a probation violation. That means he's already been found guilty on them charges and failed to do what he was supposed to do.
Sergeant Brian Keely, along with his team members who are giving chase, decided to use his vehicle as a way to apprehend. He created a situation where someone could and did in this particular case
Pulling straws
and die. The third element of second-degree murder is that the killing was not justified, excused, or done under circumstances that reduce it to a lesser crime. Now, I can't predict, nor am I going to try to predict what Mr. Curtis is going to say, if anything, regarding this. But at a minimum, whatever accident, puddles, breaks, that's all a question of fact. That's a question of fact to determine whether it was dangerous to turn your vehicle, to use it to apprehend a person. It just raises a question of fact. Not a dismissal, not a, this is not murder too.
There's not murder too.
Evidence has been presented here to suggest that a jury should decide whether using that SUV on that day constitutes murder in the second degree.
No, it don't. It's totally stupid.
Mr. Keely is also charged with involuntary manslaughter. The elements for involuntary manslaughter are: 1, a death caused by the defendant. Well, we've heard the testimony and the evidence of that. 2, without legal justification or excuse.
Oh, hold on. He said without legal justification or excuse. We had the excuse. This happened, this accidental death happened while he was doing his lawful job trying to apprehend this violent felon. So there's your excuse right there. So that don't count either. Not in my eyes anyway.
Arguably, there's no legal justification for using your vehicle to apprehend this individual. One could argue, one could make the suggestion. I'm pretty sure there are people that believe it, that Mr. Brian Keely, at a minimum, intentionally turned his vehicle towards him.
Speculation
Won't
on
go
your
as far
part.
as to say that he intentionally decided that he was going to run him over.
Oh,
But
Lord.
he intentionally turned his vehicle towards him in a way that was grossly negligent. No one uses their vehicle
That's
to
bull-
apprehend a person.
So he's saying that no one ever uses their vehicle to apprehend bad guys. I didn't know that. I just learned that. This man obviously taught it to me. BS. The man has no clue what the hell he's talking about. What it is. Cops use their vehicles on a daily basis to catch people. On a daily basis. I chased somebody through a yard on my motorcycle before. Sure did. I was using a vehicle to apprehend somebody. No, I'm sure you wouldn't, Mr. Puffer. Well, according to this man, this is the first time this happened. No cops ever do that before. Only Keely did it.
Just on foot without creating a dangerous situation.
Again, the only person that created the dangerous situation was Sterling when he decided to run instead of going peacefully. His mom created this dangerous situation when she didn't just turn him in and she lied about it. That's who created the dangerous situation.
The third element of involuntary manslaughter is that while the defendant was acting in a grossly negligent manner or while committing an unlawful act that was inherently dangerous to human life.
He was committing an unlawful act. Inherently. You gotta say it. That's bullshit. It's called an accident. So if you're driving down the road and somebody runs out in front of you and you accidentally hit them, I mean, you're gonna charge that person with second? I mean, come on. Pulling at straws.
We all know, and again, apologize for even being repetitive here, but we know how dangerous cars can be to individuals.
Yeah, them AR-15 cars are really dangerous too. Get them assault cars.
A car is going down the street.
He's just pulling at straws.
Anyone wants to argue that it was an accident. It's not a defense to
An accident, saying something's an accident is not a defense now. Okay.
involuntary manslaughter. Why? Because we're talking about gross negligence.
Not gross negligence.
And accidents get prosecuted all the time.
This dude.
Based on the evidence
That they're not allowed to use vehicles while they're carrying their 30 pounds of gear and their bulletproof vests and their jackets to put themselves either ahead of a suspect or to assist other officers who may become winded or when they get to that suspect to be able to relieve them. That was a shocking statement. That sends a chilling effect. These officers put their lives on the line every day for us. They put on the badge, they put on the vest, they put on everything that they have to do and leave their families and go. That's what they do. They, under DOS, are allowed to, the court looks at them as if an officer, now DOS is 406, MISH 102, is what an ordinary, prudent, and intelligent person with knowledge and in the situation of the arresting officer would have deemed necessary under the circumstances. At this point in time, Detective Sergeant Keely, working as the U.S. Marshals on the U.S. Marshals Task Force as a duly authorized special deputy, is assigned to an individual, and it's 457 MISH Act 442.
I don't want to get in long. This man here, y'all can go watch him. I don't know what they paying him. He's worth the money, okay? Anyway, he the judge didn't make a ruling at this time on this. I guess she took it under advisement. I think she should come back and throw everything out, whatever. There's not enough. There's no evidence to show that this man did anything of malice of wanting to do this. This judge should throw everything out. That's what I would think anyway after watching this thing and listening to every single word of it. And that's just the way it should be. Now, like I said, we're going back personally. My opinion on this personally, if she comes back and lets this go to trial, especially on a fucking second-degree murder, excuse my language, a second-degree murder charge. The only reason she's going to do that, the only reason, if she does this, I'm telling you, because I was surprised. She seemed fair at the time when they had some of the, like I said, I don't know her. I'm just going for what I saw at the time. She, with some of the objections and stuff like that. But, Just saying, if she goes off on what was sold up there the way I understood it, she should throw it out. There's no case. There's no case, especially on second-degree murder. If she goes forward with it, I see the only reason she did it is because she's afraid. Because some people are so afraid that if they just let them go and don't charge them with nothing and don't do this or that they're going to burn the city down. Well, you know what? If people are going to burn it down, let them freaking burn it. They want to burn their own neighborhood down, let them burn it down. They don't have nowhere to grocery shop. Don't have nothing. Just let them burn it down. Stop rebuilding. But you would rather throw a innocent man in jail to placate a bunch of freaking criminal thugs. Mama's a thug too because she lied. She's just as much at fault in this as like I said, the Sterling boy. This man should not be sitting in his courtroom right now. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how it's going to come out. Like I said, my opinion after watching it and listening, especially parts of it more than once, there's no case. They improved. They don't have a case. That man goes home and sleeps at night and just can't. Oh, I can believe it. I was looking at him in the courtroom there. Usually, you usually don't just have one thug in the family. Thuggisha had to make little thugs. So, mom rented a car for him and stuff. Come on. Let this man go enjoy his retirement. I know that y'all stayed over there and stuff like that. I feel sorry for y'all. I am so glad that I live in a extremely red area, which is we know what that means. Extremely red area. I couldn't do it. I don't know how these law enforcement people get up every day and go to work and put their lives on the line, knowing that the people above you just want to throw you in jail for doing your job or just protecting yourself. I don't know if I could do it. But anyway, that's my opinion. Like I said, he don't deserve to be there in the first place. And after listening to this crap, he shouldn't even be on trial. There's no case. Hopefully that's the way it comes out and the man can go live his life. Move to Keely. Once everything's said and done and you get off, man, move to Florida. Nice weather, beaches. Move to Florida, man. Move to a red state. Get out of the blue area. We will throw out our Patreons real fast. Then here we got Stacy McClendon. I'll hang around. We got Alex Jones, Kelly Meyer, Jared Nitrous, William Gibo, Dan Cross McBurley Boards, T-Bird, Hoppy Hobson, Mr. Blake Walker, A.A. Ron, Z Palmer, Roy Spalding, our good friend over there, JoJo, Kayla Norris, and Natasha A. I appreciate y'all for helping me pay my bills on this stuff every day. And stay tuned. Like I said, when the verdict comes out, we'll do something on that. Or if more stuff comes out, y'all let Brian know that even down here in Louisiana, we looking out, we praying for him and keeping our fingers crossed because they trying to railroad him, and he's a brother and we thinking about him. So, and if y'all want to help, I think you can go buy some armbands or a T-shirt, help them because these lawyers ain't cheap. So, if y'all got, I know times are tough. Shit, Bidenomics is killing all of us. But if you got a little extra, try to help out. Other than that, peace out. Till next time. Remember, we're not sheepdogs. We're lions around here. Y'all be safe.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm